Hello and welcome to this new session on Instagram. In the previous session, we discussed a lot about how to uh, let us first recap what we have done in the previous session so that we can proceed from there. It was content ideation, and in content ideation, we have we have discussed about a niche, how to, what is the meaning of niche, how to split your customers, how to understand the demographics and psychographics. Then we discussed about the 4 points to figure out your niche. These are some of the important points to figure out the niche. And then it was how to be native to the Instagram, how we should post our videos and other creatives. We should adjust to the height and width of Instagram. So today we'll be proceeding from what we discussed in the last session. And these are the things which we have discussed in the last session. Before we start planning the content on Instagram, we have three important points. We have to be niched, we have to be native, and we have to be aesthetic. Aesthetic means it should look good. Whatever we design, whatever video or whatever creative we try to put on our Instagram, it should look good because what looks good attracts more customers. Now, from there, we have to research on target audience. So, we have to understand the target audience in the perspective that what is the audience liking in our Instagram account. So, for that, we will today see the important points on the insight option of the two types of account, not the private one but for the creators and the other account, a business account. There is option called insight, from where we can see how many people have followed us, how many people have unfollowed us, what are the posts that they are liking. It is very important that after a few posts, we get an understanding that okay, this particular post was not at all attracted the customers, and this particular post attracted the customers the most. So if we can see that what are the things that the people are liking and what are the things that the people are not liking, then it becomes easier for us to design our video or the other creatives according to the audience interest. So today we'll see all those things. It is important to figure out which content works the best for you and details about your audience. So before you start posting content, what you need to do is understand what content in the past was best received by the audience, and also the minute you know which piece of content your audience like the most, comment on the post, share and save the most. That is the custom. The audience interacted with your post. That will help you to figure out what new content we should try to create. So you need to find out what performed the best historically in the past, what type of post was liked by your audience, and what type of post was not very much taken by the customers or the audience. So if you know, that is easy for you to tell why the audience likes the content or the content of the topic. Second important thing is that you need to figure out all the details about your audience, where they are from, which country, city, age, gender, etc. And once you know that details about the customer, you know what kind of content relate to that particular type of audience. Now let's get started with this activity. So as I mentioned earlier, that there's an insight in two types of account, the business account and creator account, from where we can get a lot of information. So after you click on your profile, click on the top three lines as shown here, top three lines here, and you will see the buttons inside. This works only for business accounts and creators account. This is not for the private accounts. So click on inside. First thing you see is the growth of the followers, how your followers have grown. So you can see how many people followed you in the last 7 days, how many people unfollowed you in the last 7 days. But this is not the most important metric. There are many other metrics also, but this helps us to see how our profile is growing or how our page is growing. So it is very important that every week we must have our followers increasing, because the more the followers, the better will be the interaction with the post. So if you have only 10 or 50 or 100, 200 followers, then whatever post we make will go organically to only these followers. If we make paid advertisement, that will cover in the coming sessions, that can go to any number of follower. That depends on what area you select and what is the amount of the budget for that particular ad. But if we talk about the organic reach, then for more organic reach, you should have more followers. So it is very important to see that initially your followers should be growing every week, and how many followers have started to follow, you can see in the insight. Once you go to the insight, you can see how your followers are growing. Now you can see how many people followed you in the last 7 days, unfollowed you in the last 7 days. Then let's move on to the another important metric. You can see your audience, city or country. So that is also important. And maybe there are some type of posts which are liked by a particular area geographically. Maybe it is liked by the North Indians, or maybe it is liked by the South Indians, or maybe it is liked by the rural areas, or maybe it is liked by the urban areas. So we have to understand the geography from where the customers or the audience are interacting to our post most. After that, you can see the age. That age is also important. As we discussed in the previous session, that suppose we are marketing, we are having a page for mobile app development course, then we have to see what is the target audience age, which who are interested, and how they are interacting. And the last thing that you can see, what time is your audience more active? So that is also important. Suppose your audience is more active in the evening. So what we should do? We should post on the in the evening. And if your audience is mostly active in the daytime or in the morning, so you have to try to post accordingly. So what we have to see from the inside, number one, the first thing is how your page is growing, how your account is growing. Number two is about the audience geography, then the age, then the gender. These things are very important to decide what type of post will be created in future. So if a lot of audience is active between 6 p.m. and 9 p.m., then posting a piece of content at 6 p.m. and 9 p.m. can make sense. And if you just started on the Instagram page, do some posting in 30 or 60 days and then go and see what audience you have gained. So as we discussed a few days back, that you have to create account, and now you have to try to use that account and see how your page is growing. So all the participants here are requested to create a SS Systems page uh, and try to uh, create some post, and then you will be able to see how it is performing. You can get all the data that you want from us. We can provide you the data if it is required, like logo and other information, or you can see from our website also, and try to create a Instagram account, business account by the name SS Systems or whatever name is available, so that you can have some practice on it. Until unless you practice, you will not be able to like gain much on this topic. So let's move to the second most important metric, which is called your post. Now click on your post and you can see your post from a date range last 7 days and 30 days, 3 months, 6 months, 1 year, 2 year. And now you can look at all your posts and you can give a filter. So it is very important that we sorry, Raja didn't. It is very important that we see how our posts are performing. So we can filter the post for the last 7 days, 30 days, or month. So if we have just started, we can see in the what we have done in the last 7 days, how many posts we have posted, and how those posts have been taken or responded by the audience. You can say I want to all my posts, what got the maximum likes, maximum comments, maximum shares. You can see them all together in a button called post interaction. So if you want to see a collective information about all your posts, then you can click on the post interaction button. Now, when you know this, you know what content can work for you. So go and find out which piece of content is best for your brand. But before we get to this, you have to create the account, start posting, and then only you'll be understanding what is being liked and what is not being liked. Now, after the post, you can see a historic performance on stories. You can see your stories that how they perform yesterday, the last 7 days and 30 days. And now you can check these stories with two really important metrics. So for stories, there are two very important metrics. One is link click. You can see in which stories, how many people swiped up. So you know which stories perform the best for you. You know what kind of content is working best for you. So this is very important about the story also, that you have to see how your stories are getting your audience engaged with the account. The second best metric for the story is share. So there are two things about the story, the links and the share. So how many people share it with their friends? How shareable is your content? Go and figure out which stories work for you, so that you understand how these things are working for a professional account. No, once you know the audience demography and what time they are online, what post work for you the best, what story got the maximum number of swiped up or link clicks, you now kind of know your audience and kind of content they like. And now together, you have to we say in business terms, marry both these things. Once you marry both of them, you know what to post on your Instagram account. So this is very important. If you're just starting, then experiment for the first 30 to 60 days, post stories, and then see which format work best for your audience. And this should be experimented for 30 days. Now, to start with, we'll be experimenting it for a week, and then we'll see what is happening. So what you have to do now is you have to, since we have covered a lot of topic related to the content ideation and the target audience research, so you have to create the business account and start posting few content on your the account that you have created, and then you have to share with us so that we can understand what you're doing, whether you're doing it properly or not, whether then yeah, you can come up to the niche. What is the niche that will be used? Then what will be the customer research you have to do? What should be the audience whom we should target? So please try to use these things which we are learning practically, and you can share us so that we understand what you're doing.